Hello my dear students, welcome back to online class. Today we are going to discuss some more separation methods. These are actually separating some substances from liquids. Okay, what are those? First comes to sedimentation, then decantation, then filtration. In class 5 you have already read about this all process. These main processes are separation of insoluble solid from liquids. So first picture here you can see sedimentation. Sedimentation can be defined as a process through which the dirt or other heavier particles in a mixture settle at the bottom of the vessel when water is added to it. When the dust and dirt particles have settled, the clear water which forms the upper layer is moved to a different container and the dirt and dust is done away with. This technique can also be used to separate two liquids which do not mix with each other. They are called immiscible liquids which do not mix with each other, and this is called further decantation. So here in sedimentation you can see the picture in a beaker with sand and water. When the insoluble impurities such as sands, they are settled at the bottom of the liquid to form a sediment. And here we can see in the above surface we have obtained the clear water from that muddy water that is having sand. So here the main aim of sedimentation process to obtaining clear water from muddy water. Okay, I hope you understood this process. Next, decantation. Decantation is the process of gently pouring clear liquid into another beaker without disturbing the sediments. Here you can see when that muddy water, from the muddy water we get sediments at the bottom. Sediments here is the mud. Then at the above surface the clear water is present. Then that clear water is gently pouring into another beaker without disturbing the sediment. This process is known as decantation. So decantation can be defined as a technique through which immiscible liquids or a liquid or a solid substances are separated. For example, take a case of oil and water. These are two examples of immiscible liquids. Once we pour oil in water, oil forms the upper layer of the water, can be easily separated by gently pouring the mixture in another container till all the oil has been removed. Sometimes small dirt particles get carried along with the water in the process of decantation, which needs to be further removed, and this can be achieved through the process of filtration. So the next process is filtration. Most finer filtration. Okay, so what is filtration? You can see the process by which very fine insoluble solute can be separated from a liquid solid mixture by passing through it a suitable porous material like filter paper. Porous means something, or here filter paper which having or which is possessing some pores, that pores allowing separation of such liquid solid mixture, and the liquid obtained after filtration is called filtrate. So here you can also take an example. Tea is filtered using strainer. Okay, tea leaves are usually they are get separated in a strainer. So what is filtration? Again I am discussing. Filtration is the process through which the smaller particles like dirt are separated from the solution by making a solution pass through a medium, that is often a filter paper, and this medium is such that only liquids are able to pass through it, and because of the presence of very teeny pores present in it. In the filter paper there are very teeny pores in it, and the filter paper is molded to form cone, and this cones like structure is then affixed to a funnel through which the dirty solution is allowed to pass. Sometimes filtration can be applied to separate pulp and seed from the juice. Then it can also be used to separate cottage, cheese or paneer from milk. Okay, so these are the main aim of this method. Okay, next we will see loading. What is loading? Here you can see the picture of loading. So here in loading process, what is done? Here is the process by which the mixture of liquids and liquids containing tiny impurities is separated by adding a chemical that stick to the impurities and makes them heavier. So there are some chemicals such as alum. Alum is actually used to increase the rate of sedimentation so that the impurities that are stick to that chemical, okay, and makes them heavier, and that will be settled down. So after some times when the sedimentation rate will be faster, then the impurities are settled down as sediments and clear water can be found in the upper surface. For example, if we take slightly muddy sample and add some alum to it, alum here is the chemical that is used to increase the sedimentation rate, and also that chemical sticks the impurities, okay. And if we add some alum to it, after some time we observe that a layer of mud settles at the bottom of the vessel and the water becomes clear. Here the alum got adhered to the small mud particles, made it heavier, thus causing the mud to settle down at the bottom. This process is used during filtration of water in water filtration tanks. Okay, this you have already learned in class 5, but now in more detail. Now in your book there is an activity, so try to understand that. Activity 5. Collect some muddy water from the pond or a river. If it is not available, mix some soil to water in a glass. Let it stand for half an hour. Observe the water carefully and note your observation. Does some soil settle at the bottom of the water? Why? What will you call this process? Yes, this is called obviously sedimentation. Now slightly tilt the glass without disturbing the water. Let the water from the top flow into another glass. What will you call this process? This is called decantation. Is the water in the second glass still muddy or brown in color? If you found that the water which is muddy or brown in color, now filter it. Did the tea strainer work? Here? No. Sometimes tea strainer having some large pores. That's why tea strainer is not used to remove very small impurities from the water. Let us try filtering the water through a piece of cloth. A piece of fine cloth that having very small holes or pores. That's why in a piece of cloth small holes or pores remaining between the woven threads. And these pores in a cloth can be used as a filter. If the water is still muddy after using this piece of cloth, if the water is still muddy, what you should do? Impurities can be separated only by the use of filter paper. Now in the figure 5.9 you can see how filter paper is being used for the process of filtration. A filter paper is one such filter that has very fine pores in it. It's very teeny and fine pores. Very small impurities can be stained. Okay? And figure 5.9 shows the steps involving using a filter paper. So first round filter paper, then the filter paper is folded into half, then that is folded in the form of a cone that is fixed onto a funnel that I have shown you in class 5 how it is being folded. Now in the figure 5.10 you can see the filter paper folded in the form of cone is fixed onto the funnel, and then the mixture is then poured on the filter paper, and solid particles in the mixture do not pass through it and remain on the filter. Okay, so it's all about the filtration process and how filter paper is being used for the process of filtration. So the process sedimentation, decantation, loading and filtration, these all are the related to each other. Okay, so I hope you understood this topic and this process of separation of such substances, okay, from their mixture. That's all. Thank you.